Good day, let's talk reels again today. There was quite a number of questions about reels, left-handed, right-handed, what do we do, why? So most of the reels today is totally versatile. It can be adapted to be a handle on the left-hand side or to have a handle on the right-hand side. And it's as easy as this, just to swap it around. So you can decide. Most of them come to South Africa with the handle on the left-hand side. Now, South Africans, and many South Africans have asked me, why do you and why do some of the Europeans fish with the handle on the left-hand side if you are indeed right-handed? Now, believe you me, for some reason, and I'm still trying to figure that out for the last 15 years, the South Africans like to do it on the right hand, irrespective whether they are left-handed or right-handed. And the question is why? So when we started fishing in South Africa some years back, we had the flat reels, the Orlandos, Magnums, Darias, Jectas, all those, which were flat 1-to-1 reels. You only had one option, is to have it on the right hand. And we all learned to fish like that. And for some reason that has stuck. But why am I specifically fishing with my reel handle on the left hand side while I am right-handed? I am a right hand dominant. Why do I do this? And why do I fish when I fish with a bait caster on a bass setup? Why do I fish with my left hand? That's what I do, cast on my right hand and I'm onto my left handed. So here is the reason, and I'm going to tell you a little story. About the third or fourth World Championship that I represented South Africa, we were fishing in Valens in Hungary, Lake Valens, and I was fishing next to a world-renowned champion, a world champion, Alan Scowthorne, and we were fishing on the match rod. So the principle of the match rod is you would cast. Now remember, there's a float on it, so it's float fishing. So you would cast, get the reel down, reel once or twice very fast, get the line under the water, let the float settle, put a catapult or two on the float, then the float will disappear, catch the fish, etc. So it's quite fast. So I was fishing like most of the South Africans do, like this. So I would cast with my right hand. So now it is inside in the water. Then I had to change my hands like this, put my rod tip under the water, reel a couple of times fast, get the line under the water, then put it down, put a few catapults in, and only then start catching fish. So halfway through the match, Alan Scowthorne looked at me and he said, "Lad," and I'm not going to repeat his exact British words, but he said, "Lad, what on earth are you doing?" I'm asking, "What do you mean? I'm fishing." He says, "Why are you changing hands all the time?" I said, "No, I'm just fishing. I'm casting right-handed." And he says, "But why do you keep on changing your hands? Why is your handle not on the left-hand side?" But he first asked me, "Are you right-handed or left-handed, or don't you know?" I said, "No, I'm right-handed." He says, "But why is your rod in your left hand?" So I started thinking about that. Now, it was very, very awkward to think about it the other way around. So after I came back from the World Championship, I started watching some videos, seeing what the other guys are doing, and I started thinking about this principle. So here is the theory. If you are right-handed, and this is what Alan told me, he says, if you are right-handed, your rod is an extension of your arm. So the dominance that you have on the right-hand side of your body should be extended through your rod onto the fish. So you should be in contact with your fish and with your cast on your dominant side of your body. Hence, cast right-handed, feel the fish right-handed, be in contact with the fish with the right hand, do everything that requires a certain amount of finesse, touch and control with your dominant hand. Then give the simple job, which is turning a reel, turning a handle, to your dumber hand. And it is really like that. So once you start fishing that way, it is so natural, because you are more accurate, because you've got more control with your cast. And that's what I see most of the guys do. They cast right-handed, but the moment that they've done it, they change their rods around, they change their hands, they take a few seconds, and then they turn with the dominant hand again, holding their rod in the non-dominant hand. But I've also watched some of the top anglers, and you can see here where Barend Breed, who is one of the top class anglers, casts with his left hand. He's left-handed. So that's what he does. He casts left-handed and he reels right-handed. And that is 100% correct. So this is what he does. So he's got his rod like this. He's very accurate. He does his cast like that. Then he's immediately onto his dominant side and he's onto the reel with his right hand, which is non-dominant. So this is what he does. Peter does it the same, and there's a number of guys, especially the left-handed guys. They all cast left-handed. Johan Donald is one of them as well. They all cast left-handed, and there they are onto their right hand. But some of us right-handed folks cast like this, and then they swap hands to the other side. And the reason, I don't know. It must be a comfort thing. So I've converted. It took me about 3 to 4 months to get that motion comfortable. And then the more you do that, the more you cannot be without it. Now, especially when you're speed fishing. With feeder fishing, you'll see it much more. Many of the, now I can almost say most of the match and feeder fishing guys, where you need to be very fast, that are right-handed. They cast with their right hand and they reel with their left hand. Same with many art lure anglers. They don't change hands. I've been on the boat with guys like Fred Rombanes from America and so forth. Those top end guys, they all fish like this. The quick cast, I mean that the lure hits the water and it's already flicked it and is reeling. So when you're doing speed fishing, it makes a lot of sense. And this is why I fish like that. To stay in contact with your cast, to be in control of your cast with your right hand or with your dominant hand, and it doesn't matter which side. In control with your dominant hand onto the reel immediately with your other hand. You've got control. It's easier to do line management. And when you strike, you obviously strike with your right hand because it's your strong hand or your dominant hand. And then why do you want to spend a couple of seconds turning it all around, having the bud around your body and then onto your other hand? Why don't you just stay like that? And that is the reason why I fish like that, and many of the Europeans are. There is something else as well. A guy like Gilbert Foxcroft, and also South Africans started with that. He fishes the other way. He's left-handed, but he casts right-handed. So the moment that he's cast, he's changing hands. But when he picks up the rod, when he plays a fish, when he does everything else, he's onto his left hand and reeling with his right hand onto his dominant hand. So that's like halfway between the two. And that's it. So go and try it. Teach your non-dominant hand to do a simple thing like turning a handle, whether it's right-handed or left-handed. And fortunately, most of the reels that we have can be changed in 10 seconds. So that's it, our piece of advice for today. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Make sure that you get all the notifications on this channel, and that you can go into the menu and watch as many fishing related, technique related videos that you would like on For Anglers. Cheers.